One thing that fascinates me about Sean is how down to earth he is. There is no arrogance to him. And for somebody as smart as he is, and he is smart, and for the accomplishments that he has got, he would have any reason to not be down to earth, but he really, really is. I think he has an overdeveloped sense of fairness sometimes. And I think he'd probably say the same about me, which is ironic because he doesn't see it in himself. He will absolutely put himself last to make sure that the people who have worked so hard with us over the years get rewarded for their hard work. I don't think he would ever mention that to anybody, but he is very selfless when it comes to that.
The journey of Ellume has been one with plenty of ups and downs, and my personal journey has been one where I've had to learn an awful lot of skills and capabilities to be able to grow with the company and to enable the company to grow. The journey has been from really a clinical idea arising from my time as a clinician into a now business based in 2 countries with manufacturing capabilities and product development capabilities that's so much bigger. So it has certainly been a story of growth, problem solving, and has had its fair share of ups and downs. The defining moment for Ellume really came in the last part of 2011. Although the company had been going slowly for a couple of years, there was a decision to be made about whether or not I was really going to commit to seeing this through and developing consumer diagnostics for infectious diseases. The moment came for me when I was looking after a patient in an intensive care unit who was dying from swine flu, and there was a realisation that this person had contracted swine flu from somebody, and the person that gave it to them in turn got it from someone else, and so on and so forth. And I realised that all we had to do was break one of the links in that chain, and this fellow wasn't in intensive care, perilously close to death. And so there was a realisation that this was a worthwhile thing to do, that if we could create products to do that and we could diagnose people earlier, we could connect them to treatment, we would be able to make a dent in the overall burden of this disease globally. And so that was the point when I really committed to seeing Ellume through. The hardest bit on the journey has been balancing work and home together, being good parents and being a good husband, as well as doing the right thing by the company and being a good leader within the business. I think setting boundaries around where work starts and stops, and especially with respect to the children and with respect to each other, is probably the only thing I would do differently looking back. Would be making sure we defend that family time. That's so precious.
We both have a very high bar as to what we think good parents have to look like. So I think particularly given the stresses over the last 2 years and taking on the responsibility that Ellume has towards the world and kind of helping bring these products to the market and making them accessible, it was just really hard to balance that with the responsibility that we feel towards our children. I think we have a lot of things in common, actually. And what wasn't in common, we beat each other into shape.
We could unpack that for a while. Outdoors activities, I think we definitely have in common. Exercising together, it's great. It's a really fun way to connect. Ellume had the benefit of growing slowly and growing over time. And there wasn't really a moment where I had to leap off from my prior life as a clinician into Ellume. It could taper up. And it became clear over those years as we were discussing things at home and working together that Mia could bring a skill set to the business and increase the probability of success of the products that I clearly didn't have. And so it was actually natural that this moved into a discussion about formalising this from a discussions we're having around the dinner table into actually being part of the business and working in the business. And the Ellume name was your idea. We spent a lot of time discussing that, and in the end, the kernel of the idea was yours and the actual word was yours as well.
Ellume is all about illuminating the way to better health to patients in a way that basically means empowering the patient to take more control about their own life. So we felt that with a diagnostic that could connect to treatment, we could be that part of that illumination.
that enlightenment, illumination kind of concept about trying to shine the way to well, from getting from sick to well. So advice that I would give to a budding entrepreneur would be that the two main emotions of being an entrepreneur are euphoria and terror. And so be ready for those. Be ready for the euphoria of the wins and the terror of the challenges that come with sorting out the hard bits along the way. I don't know of examples of successful entrepreneurs that haven't had their terrors or their struggles along that road. Yours will be similar and in their own way different to those that have gone before, and learning of those journeys of entrepreneurs that have been before will be something that will be really helpful.